Okay. Good morning, world. How are we today? Okay, so this morning I wanted to talk about. Sorry, I should have had that sip before. I wanted to talk about perfectionism. And I was watching a thing on YouTube last night. I forget the lady's channel, but she always does videos on the crazy beauty standards of today, and how celebrities are perpetuating it, but they're also victims of it and all this sort of stuff, right? And then I started to think about, because in this video as well, there was clips of people talking about how there's not just filters on your phone that come with your phone, but there's filters on your apps, and you can get apps that basically Photoshop your photos, your selfies and stuff, to make you look flawless, and you've got no skin texture, or no perceived imperfections and all this sort of stuff. And actually, she pointed out historically, since way back in the day when photos first started being taken professionally, they were given instructions and tools how to blur things out, and how to manipulate the images to make people look more visually acceptable or appealing, changing the shape of people, or their neckline, their head shape, etc. All sorts of things. That was already happening all the way back then. And so it's nothing new, but obviously since we got social media and any other way of sharing images of each other online, people have become over time incredibly low self-esteem, judgmental of themselves, and turn to using these photoshopping programs or apps to change their appearance, and edit out what they think is not acceptable, not good enough. And some of these apps as well, filters are what they call beauty filters. So it even applies makeup onto you when you weren't wearing makeup, or changes your hair and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. And anyway, so these women that were being interviewed about their using of these apps and stuff were talking about how now they don't accept themselves as they are when they see themselves in real life in a mirror, because they're so used to, and they prefer so much, the let's say the beauty filter version of them, which is AI. It's fake, it's not real. And they are so used to seing that in their images that they post online and whatever, that now they can't live with themselves in real life, how they look. And some of them are even going as far as to get plastic surgery and stuff, and do whatever they can do to look closer to the AI version of themselves from these beauty filter apps and stuff. And I just was thinking, this has all got to do with perfectionism. that is, you know, I know it's not technically classified as a mental health disorder on its own, and it's actually like maladaptive perfectionism is actually more of a character trait that might be associated with other mental health issues. But I would suggest that maladaptive perfectionism is something that most people nowadays would be diagnosed with. You know, now you can't even go for a session at the gym, you know, without comparing your brand, your clothes brands, and your whole outfit, and your shoes, and your style, and, you know, do you have makeup on, and what workout are you doing, and do you have the right, you know, the cool, you know, gym drink bottle and bag and all this sort of stuff. Like now, every aspect of life is, you know, documented by people. You know, even down to your food that you're eating. Oh, you know, you're cooking something at home, it better look like it was just served up by a Michelin restaurant, you know. Got to take a photo, we've got to share, you know, how gourmet your food looks. I mean, it's probably cold by the time you get to eat it because you're taking, you know, so many photos to get the most perfect angle. You know, and I mean, how many people are running late for everything because, you know, you spend 2 hours doing makeup and contouring every part of your face till you almost look like not even yourself. I mean, have you seen those, you know, the videos on YouTube that are people who they show like themselves before makeup, like say they just woke up or whatever, and then they are doing their makeup, or they're trying to do their makeup to look like a famous celebrity or whatever, like all of those type of videos. I mean, just makeup alone, the transformation is like voodoo. It's like hardcore magic, man. You know what can be done, and like girls, like a lot of girls, they know how to do all that. Like, you know, you think you're dating a girl who looks like a particular way, and you've never seen her without makeup. Like, you have no idea what her face actually looks like, you know. And I bet she was beautiful before makeup as well, but, you know, the world's got her all twisted up, thinking that, you know, she has to have a kilo of foundation and bronzer and contour, you know, and all the rest of it, to be acceptable socially, you know. And it's also a thing to do with relationships as well. I mean, how many relationships as well are, you know, like based on appearance? And, you know, there's a lot of, I would say, young girls out there who would be absolutely terrified of their partner ever seeing them without makeup and their hair done perfect and, you know, a cute outfit on and all that sort of stuff. Because their partner probably does have shallow expectations like that, and probably would be shocked to see her a la natural. And you know, I mean, it's a situation like that where, you know, they would probably, maybe they would break up because would she be enough if she was just all natural, you know? And then you've just got this, like, you know, every, like, even character traits and interests and hobbies are being, like, competed with, or, you know, it's like a competitive thing on social media too, like what you're into, you know, and like even like that whole thing that's happening in Bondi at the moment thousands of young people getting up early and going and doing, like, it's supposed to be a run club, right? But I saw footage of it, and everyone's just walking around taking selfies and taking videos to post to their socials. And it's like, these people are not actually there to run and be healthy and all this sort of stuff. You can tell by the girls as well. They've done their hair all cute. They've got a full face of makeup on. They've got their, awesome brand, exercise clothes on, which is basically like a bra and shorts that cinch right up the butthole. And the boys are all there to perv on the girls that are getting around like that. And the whole thing is basically a huge clout party, I would say. And but it gets spun as like, oh, look at these young people getting up early, and 2,000 people going for a run in the morning before work and before uni. And it's like, no, they're not. They're doing it for clout. They're doing it for their socials. They're doing it to be, like, for appearances and stuff. I would say that basically every single person there probably has, maladaptive perfectionism thing going on, where they would be petrified of someone to see them looking a la natural. Just saying that, like, it's such a common thing now in our society, that you can't look left or right without it being present, and it's just becoming accepted. It's just becoming like, I remember, like, a while ago there was a story in Australia where there was a lady who was going for a run, and she wasn't wearing, what's now is like the cool, exercise clothes to wear or whatever. So she was not wearing the bra and matching little shorts, like you see most girls going for a run now, okay? She was just wearing basically like some basketball shorts and a t-shirt, right? Nothing wrong with that. She's comfortable. That's her exercise clothes. You don't have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on these brands and these particular clothes and to fit in with the crowd when you're going for a run. Like, it's just stupid. It's a cult. And anyway, so she's going for a run, and do you know what happened? People were assuming, based on how she was dressed, people were assuming that she was running from something bad, like maybe a man was attacking her or something and she was running for her life. And they were calling the police. There was multiple calls to the police about a lady who might need help because she's running around the neighborhood. And then the police went and found her running and stopped her. And how shocking, how embarrassing for society that this poor lady going for a run, people thought that there was something seriously wrong when she was, running for help or running for her life, just because she was exercising in what she was exercising in, and not in, I can't even remember the brand names now, but all those particular brand names with the matching top and bottoms and all that, looking like that. Because nowadays society just expects you to be wearing stuff like that too if you're going to be doing any exercise. They did not think she was going for a run for exercise at all. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, anyway, look, I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that, people are out here getting everything twisted, really, because it's like everything that you're posting, everything that you're claiming, to be, and all this sort of stuff is all to fit a particular image. It's to portray something. And normally when you're trying to portray something online, it's not genuine, it's not real. You have considered you have considered this, that, and the other, before you've posted it online and all this sort of stuff, haven't you? And you've done filters, and you've looked for the best angles, and I mean, I know there's lots of videos as well on YouTube where people get mocked for that sort of stuff, like when they see boyfriends out there taking like photo shoots of their girlfriends out in public or at the beach or whatever like that. Like, it's just like, you're actually living very inauthentic. You're actually living very fake and shallow and not meaningful, not purposeful, not contributing to society and life in a meaningful way. And I feel like most people, who are doing all of this, they would be so harsh on themselves as well. And most of the time it's not just to do with appearance, it's to do with aspects of their whole life, like ticking boxes. And I feel like everyone is actually a victim of that. Everyone is kind of forced into a mentality of comparing their life with other people's lives around them that they see, or and I mean, it's good to have like a particular level of competition in you, but if you feel like you have to be this, or you have to be that, or you have to be doing this or having this in order to be like doing well in life, according to other people, that's not really healthy, is it? You should be living life to your own standards, and you should feel free to have your own standards, not just go in with the crowd and what they think is cool or trendy, or what you should be doing at a particular age, or what you should have achieved by a particular point in your life. Everyone's story is different. I think it's so cool when you see people that really stand out in the crowd, and they're following their own path. They are dancing to their own drum. Like, it's awesome when you see that, because nowadays it's like everyone kind of is a little bit cloney of each other, and everyone's trying to look like like, how like the whole Kardashian thing is and lots of stuff. Everyone wants to be a Kardashian, and do their makeup and their hair the same, and they get butt implants, so other people go get butt implants. And now we've got the whole like Ozempic era, where all the celebrities are taking Ozempic, and it's getting all skeletal bodies again. We better rush out and also do the same, if that's the trend now, if that's the look now. We've got to be in it, and competing, and who's gonna have the skinniest body? Like, it's kind of pathetic and kind of sick and twisted, isn't it? Like, this whole like, everything is just like, of course people are walking around with like eating disorders, of course people are walking around with mental health issues, or even just at the very least like low self-esteem. It's just, but yeah, I think that perfectionism should really it warrants having its own mental health label, just as depression does, or social anxiety does, because ever since social media, ever since filters and all that sort of stuff, people are judging harshly themselves, the image of themselves. And I mean, gosh, I've got daughters, and I think I've complained about this before, but Ariana Grande is, I feel, an incredibly bad influence on young girls, um, you know especially with her drastic weight loss. And but she still has all the teen girls just wrapped around her fingers, doesn't she? They love her perfume, they love her music, and then it's just like, I don't even allow like posters of her. I really don't, because I feel like just promoting like sick, unhealthy mentality. And I'm very open about that opinion. I used to say to my girls when they were younger, well, like, not when they were younger, but like as I've been growing up, I've been saying, if you spend too much time looking in the mirror, you'll end up in hospital because you'll get sick in the head. And I really do believe that. Like, I really do think that if you care that much about your appearance, where you can't be around your partner without makeup and looking all cute, if you can't leave your house without a full face of makeup, it just all of it. If you can't get through life being authentically you, even, you're going to have some troubles, aren't you? You're going to have some mental health issues. It's going to come out one way or another, in different negative ways. And obviously, depression can stem from the maladaptive perfectionism, anxiety, social anxiety, probably sleep problems, OCD behaviors. All of that can stem from this idea of looking perfect, of leading what's considered to be such a perfect life, like the whole trad wives. Oh my God, the pressure that they must feel. I mean, I watched a crime show on TV like a week ago, and it was about a trad wife. And I mean, she was making flour from scratch in her home, like grinding, making butter from scratch in her home, just all of it. And those ladies, as if you can maintain that kind of work, like just for years and years, like as if you're going to have a mental breakdown. You're going to suffer from exhaustion and have health issues. Like, especially when, like, these girls I'm talking about, they're posting it and stuff on social media. Like, if you were just like an off-grid mum who does stuff from scratch, because you care about the health of your family and all that, and you're a stay-at-home mum, yeah, okay, it would probably be way less of an issue for you, because you're not under the pressure of, scrutiny online and making sure everything looks perfect, and, oh, what does my background look like, and, filters, and, marketing yourself and all that sort of stuff, you're just being a mum, doing your off-grid life. But yeah, the trad wives, they are like the perfectionism embodied, aren't they? And then you've got the whole yoga cult, that's like, getting around in yoga clothes all the time, and having like a particular aesthetic in all of your social media posts, and clean girl aesthetic, and all this sort of stuff. And I just feel like people are like holding themselves up to particular standards that's like unreasonable for themselves, but it also perpetuates it onto other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, why aren't we perpetuating like normalism? Normal life, where we have normal bodies and normal faces and normal aging and normal life issues and normal ups and downs, and just all of that, so that we're not holding each other to unrealistic expectations either. And I just always think, like, we've got to think of the kids that are growing up with all this, like, maybe, I guess, 20 something year olds and whatever, they're not concerned maybe because they don't have kids yet, some of them, but even some that do, I mean, think about like your children growing up and being held to unrealistic expectations that you kind of helped to perpetuate. It's like, we're all imperfect, actually. We're all beautifully imperfect. And we're all individual, and individualism should be celebrated, not hidden, not felt ashamed of. You know what I mean? There should just be more talk like that, more of that online, rather than just all this pressure to be perfect. Because I think it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. Anywho, I'm going to leave it there. You all have a good day, and I will see you all soon.